Hello, folks. Welcome to a new episode of Not Another United podcast. And as you can see, the sun is clearly shining on us and has been so for a few weeks. We have our fingers crossed. Just a quick intro. We're a group of three friends who come together every week to discuss all things United, sometimes in the middle of the week as well. And yeah, we're trying to make this into a winning habit lately. So, Sid, why don't you start us off with your our most recent Fergie time winner against Fulham and the 3-2 result that it was. What was your take?
I think it was a throwback to the glorious days. I think, especially having a striker score the winner, and that to a brilliant finish. I mean, the turn and the finish, and the wonderful assist from our maestro Bruno. I think, all in all, the goal was a great team goal, right? And that's what makes it more heartening for me to see, and you can sense that sense of unity and camaraderie among the team. I it is these are non-tangible things, which is the hallmark of a good successful team. I'm not saying we are there yet, but you can see shoots of camaraderie coming through, and I think the fact that we did not cave into the disappointment of conceding the second goal, which again was a stunner. And it seems to me that Lemons always concedes stunners. I mean, he has conceded so many stunners, and it's not his fault, but
Not a bad thing. Not a
not a
bad thing.
bad thing. But
But were
so
you not
that
concerned at
w-
2-2?
no, I was not. No, I mean, concerned. I did not have much time to be concerned about. We immediately replied, and therefore I was concerned. I was concerned at it coming back to 3-3. That was the one thing that I was concerned about, because we're not that great defensively still. But I think overall a great performance, a great victory, especially against a team which has troubled us in the past, in Fulham. So I think all three victories that Carrick had strung through till then, all three were of completely different style and shape. So I think that's what's most heartening for me.
And you mentioned about camaraderie, and I think Amorim also has to be given a lot of credit. And it may be a
Absolutely.
little controversial, but that's the absolute truth. It's not as if Carrick is inheriting Ten Hag's team, right? Where everything was disheveled and chaotic and like whatnot. But Amorim has done a lot of good things as well in terms of getting
Yeah,
rid of
yeah,
the deadwood, those like the Garnachos of the world. I mean, just saying his name gives me the creeps. But this isn't just a Carrick thing. Even before under Amorim, we could see these signs of it being more of a team than a one person or a two-person led group. So yeah, credit where it's due, I guess. And by the way, we've won all seven games this season where we've had less than 45% possession.
yeah. I
And
think
we had about 42% against Fulham.
interesting, and I think that's not coincidental. We've always struggled to win against team who let us have at the higher chunk of position. So it is. I mean, it is not coincidental. It is by design, or rather, the team is only of that quality that it can play on counter attack. But I, I did not realize that we had 42% position until after the match. I did not realize it from this match, because this was the kind of match where historically we would have struggled to break that low block. We would have struggled to dominate the midfield, right? But I think credit
And
where
their
due, as you
midfield,
rightly said.
yeah, their midfield played well. I
Yeah,
mean, they
yeah,
were
yeah,
good. Like Sanderberger was.
yeah. Now I think, uh, now on the topic of midfield, coming to your favorite, coming to the topic of your favorite player, who has been in the spotlight for all the right reasons, Casemiro. What was your take on his man of the match performance in my eyes?
I can't deny that I am the biggest critic of Casemiro that there ever was, possibly. Some of those fundamentals still hold true, but yes, this was a
Yeah,
man of the match. This was a man of the match performance. Can't deny that. His fifth goal of the season, which is his highest ever goal tally in the Premier League. His no-look assist to Cunha, and it wasn't just about the no-look bit, but the weight of that pass couldn't have been better if he used like a protractor. Matlab, it couldn't have been more perfect because if Cunha takes a touch, maybe the defender comes in, maybe the angle becomes more narrow. So it was perfect in terms of its speed, pace, the angle, and all Cunha had to do was, of course, shoot it as hard as he could, and he did a very good job of it. There was no other way the keeper would have been beaten. It would have
yeah.
only been if it's nestling in the top of the net. And not just that, Casemiro, it does seem that he's the adrenaline. I mean, he's getting those adrenaline bouts during the game. He's not having as many rash tackles as he used to, and he's breaking up the play a lot. Of course, being in the middle with Menu and having the back four also helps. I would give him some credit though, like he's had a good upturn. But yeah, I mean, I mean, I
Okay,
like give it.
let's
Yeah,
leave it at that.
yeah,
Let's leave
yeah,
it at that.
yeah. Let me not
Uh,
say anything further.
yeah, let's leave it at that. So you mentioned Kuna. I think a penny for Kuna's performance. Uh, I mean, I was just thinking about this. He only scores tonners, and he scores them by the truckloads. It is mind-boggling the number of accurate shots that he has on the target, and you know, a lot of people highlight that I mean, he overachieves on his XGs, and I think that goes to show how skillful of a shooter he is. I mean, all of his goals that he has scored for us, even the goal against Aston Villa, it was not an easy finish by any stretch of the imagination. And then this one against Fulham, wherein the only way he could have scored against a good keeper was by blasting it in the roof of the net, and that's exactly what he did.
No, and I was, by the way, about to text in our group in the middle of the match that as much as he is a scorer of great goals, I would like him to become a great scorer of goals. I mean, there's a stark difference between the two, right? Of course, his frequency has been a little better lately, but when you consider the overall season, we would like him to end up with double figures time and time and time again. And he does get into good positions as well. And I think I agree with you now when you compared him to Rooney back in our one of our previous episodes that he's a bit of a floater. Like we don't know where he's going to be, and so does the opposition, which works in his favor. Like he would move anywhere. He's like he's playing with his friends really on a futsal pitch. Like he'd go
Yeah,
wherever the ball is, and he'd even defend as well. Like that's also one thing I feel has not gotten as much attention.
yeah,
Even
yeah.
against Fulham and some of the other teams, he would be one of the first people to be tracking back and defending and making those.
And that's true
Um,
for Mbumo as well. Their work rate is off the chart. So
what was your Fergie time winner feeling, by the way, as soon as Sheshko, did you feel that Sheshko is going to score? Like, क्या लग रहा था?
तो यार मुझे ना शेष को जब भी पिच पाता है वो एक डिफरेंस मेकर लगता है बिकॉज ऑफ हिज फिजिकल प्रेजेंस हिज फर्स्ट टच हिज जीरो बैकलिफ्ट शूटिंग एबिलिटी तो मुझे लगता है कि यार उसको एक अच्छा चांस मिलेगा तो वो अच्छा कुछ सेव निकाल सकता है ये अगेन ही इज रॉ ही इज यंग उसका मेन मुझे रहता है कि ही शुड गेट इनटू दोस पोजीशंस राइट एंड दिस टाइम ही डिड एंड टू बी ऑनेस्ट मुझे लगा था फर्स्ट टच टुक हिम अवे फ्रॉम द गोल मुझे लगा नहीं था कि फर्स्ट टच के बाद वो फिनिश कर पाएगा बट क्रेडिट वेयर ड्यू इट वाज अ ब्रिलियंट फिनिश एंड यार फीलिंग सो हर फर्गी टाइम विनर की फीलिंग सेम रहती है much better than any other so these injury time wins you know they give you a different kick altogether and we've had those in quick successions of Arsenal and then you know this one so couldn't have asked for anything else.
And this was one moment where I felt, arguably, for the second time, because he did the same against Burnley as well, he looked like a proper striker. It it it
Yeah,
it it had patience, it had a good touch, it had an uneven finish, which no keeper in the entire world is getting close to. And especially given the fact that he missed an easy chance, which was his first touch. If you remember that header,
the
right?
header,
10
yeah.
out of 10 times he should be scoring that header because there is no pressure. The ball is beautifully on his head. Ahmad has put in such a good cross, and he should be scoring that. He can score it, in fact, anywhere he wants to. He could go high, he could go low, he could go towards the keeper's left or right, but he hit the post. And of course, when you do that, and then you see us almost drawing the game 2-2, it plays on your mind as a striker that it's because of me we may not win this game, and then your legs become a little more shaky. It happens to anybody and everybody in the world. That's why I gained a little bit more respect for him for what he did. Uh, I think
So
everybody knows that I have a man crush on Bruno, and I couldn't have let the Fulham match analysis be done without talking about him. So that assist, I can tell the entire world only Bruno Fernandes can do that. Only he can have the audacity to even attempt a ball like that. And I'm not just talking about the last bit where he crossed the ball to Sheshko, but I'm talking about what he did before that. And you saw, like, Dalo put in a ball to him, and he did a dummy, and it was a nutmeg, and he went past their defender. Now to attempt that, it has a high level of risk. Trust me when I tell you this, because easily the defender can intercept that, and then maybe you're staring at a counter, and you can nowhere catch that defender anyway. So you are risking losing, and he does that time and time and time again. He always takes that risk which no one else would. He
Yeah.
always fights for that last inch which no one else can or would, and he always delivers as well. When he got past that defender, Bassi, who's one of the strongest, most physical people I've seen in the Premier League, Bassi was all over him. He was nudging him, he was tackling him, he had almost put him down, but Bruno still held his own. And instead of putting that pass which everyone expected, which is between the defender and the goalkeeper, he put in a negative cross, which was ingenious because he also knows that the defenders would be running, trying to cover that danger area, which is why nobody was near him. And Sheshko had a clear run towards the goal, and I feel, I mean, 80% of that was created by Bruno, and I can't applaud him more ever
See,
for attempting and thinking on his feet like this.
see, let me put it this way. 93rd मिनट में इन अ मैच जहां तुम 2-2 करके वापस आए हो, किसी और प्लेयर के दिमाग में भी नहीं आएगा कि डमी करके निकलना.
Not even
Everyone
a
would
chance.
play, किसी के दिमाग में नहीं आएगा. Everyone would play the safe pass. Any other
Exactly.
player in his position would have played it back to the right back, Diallo, or played it in the middle. But for him to do that tells you that, how. It again, hindsight is a beautiful thing, but it again shows. Such a strange decision to play him in a mid two rather than play him in the best position, right? And wherein he's creating chances after chances after chances every single match. So much so that we he could potentially break the assist records if his form continues. He's a generational player, once in a generational player, and we have been lucky to have him, but also he's been unlucky to have been part of this United team. He's a shoe in. He would be a shoe in for, if not the starting 11, at least for the squad for any great United team of the past. That's for sure. He's that good a player. I think, again, I say this about Rooney. I said this about Rooney when he retired, that history will remember him more fondly. History will remember Bruno more fondly than it does now. He's not underrated, but his greatness would be appreciated even more once he has moved on to different leagues, or once he has retired.
And by the way, we on that winner, like one of my favorite little moments during that, outside of the goal and the victory, of course, was the celebration. And if you noticed, Xerxes celebrated the most out of everyone. Like you could see it on his face that he's being as authentic and as filterless as he possibly can be. You can't make this stuff up. And he's nowhere been close to our starting 11. He's not getting enough game time. He was almost out of the door at United in January. There were clear, proven links for him to go back to Syria, and how he celebrated. I mean, it warmed my heart to I don't know what length, and I loved seeing all of them together. He was tapping Seshko's head, and everybody was so happy for Benjamin as well. And Xerxes did the same thing even yesterday against our match against Spurs, right? And it's like that sums it up for me. Like that image of somebody being on the bench and hardly getting any game time, celebrating like that with everyone, it was just unbelievable. I mean, I don't have words to explain. My emotional quotient is, I'm trying to work on it, but it just touched a lot of my heartstrings for sure.
So, while it's good to be happy about the injury time winner, let's just shed some light on how we reached there, right? So, are you concerned about the two-goal lead that we almost threw away, especially the first goal? A, was that a penalty, and B, could it have been avoided?
Definitely, it was a penalty because you're taking the player with you and you have missed the ball. It's not as if you have caught the ball or intercepted it. And yes, it could have been avoided, but I mean, it's such an intuitive thing, right? Like Maguire, in the form that he's in, he's wanting to go for that tackle, and just like goals are for forwards, the similar thing is for defenders to making such large dish tackles, right? Uh, I also know if Maguire would not have attempted that tackle, वो goal वैसे भी नहीं होता. Lamins
हाँ
would
वही
have
तो
saved it
सेव कर
anyway,
ही लिया था, सेव कर लिया था, हाँ।
but it's such an intuitive thing, right? I mean, you hardly have microseconds to make these decisions. The second goal was unavoidable. Like, I did try to think that, are we giving these players too much liberty around our D? Is that the case? Well, yes, in some cases it is. He was a substitute who came on. He was fresher, he was nippier, he had more legs, you could say. But yeah, I'd like this number to go down, as much as it's a bittersweet thing that it takes a goal of this standard to score against us versus us giving players the liberty to be in these positions where they can take this shot and score.
It was almost similar to Rogers' goal against us, right? Which means that the team needs to prevent
Same,
these sort of goals.
same flank.
Yeah. So
And
now, go on. Sorry.
yeah, so just a couple of players I wanted to highlight before we wrap this Fulham section up. I wanted to comment on two unsung heroes of our current form and overall club who do not get spoken of enough, and that's Amad Diallo and Lamens. And we know that Ahmad is not scoring enough. Let's say he's not assisting enough. He's not uh, sort of the marquee player in terms of attacking returns right now. But tell me if there is anybody who's working harder than him on the ball and off the ball. He's going into those nasty challenges. He's not leaving their wing backs. He's not leaving their wingers. Even at the last bloody minute when we scored against Fulham 3-2, he was the one who ran back from his own attacking half towards RD and he almost got the ball back. He almost intercepted. He's like a pest. He never stops running. And I think it's similar to how I used to see. I mean, Park Ji-sung, it's not a similar example in terms of type of player, but in terms of just the endurance, the willingness, and the intent to do that. He doesn't have to do that, but he's still doing that. And Lamens, I think
So,
we've
so
spoken of him enough.
first, Ahmad, on his best day, he's the best player in the team. In a team full of Bruno, Sheshko, Mbeumo, and Kuna, he's the best player in the team. And on his bad day, he's an 8 on 10 even on his bad day. That's how highly I rate Ahmad, especially in this season. I don't remember him putting in a bad game because even on days where his cross, he's unable to beat his man, he's our best one-on-one player, right? In the team. Even on the days when he's unable to beat his players, he will do that one moment of uh, genius, which makes you stand up and say, wow, what a player. If case in point, Nottingham Forest, wherein he blasted that volley in the top net. And that was one of his, bad matches, bad days. Again, I think parallels with Park Ji-sung is absolutely accurate. I think his endurance, his stamina is unbelievably high. He plays at the same pace that he plays at the same
Yep.
pace in the 90th minute that he does in the first minute. I think only Bruno has that kind of stamina that Ahmad has. So I think he to me he's a shoe in our starting 11. You know, for years to come, hoping that his form continues to stay the same. And I mean, Lemons, who would have said that a stable goalkeeper can give such an uptick in your performance? Such a unique thing to discover. But uh, he reminds me so much of Van der Sar. He reminds me so much of Van der Sar in the sense of the calmness that he gives to the back four. His 7 on 10, 8 on 10 performances year. I mean, day in day out. His distribution, not. I love his non-flashy approach. A complete contrast to what.
Relative to how often we used to talk about keepers just a
Yeah,
few months ago to now,
right.
like we literally have to think about and then yes, validate Lemons in his own way because there's nothing for us
Right.
to talk about. He's like a Rolls
Exactly.
Royce of a keeper, similar to how
Exactly.
Ferdinand was at centre back. Even Carrick as manager, like both of their
Exactly.
personalities
So,
seem to mirror each other.
so I mean, our goalkeeping coach in the college used to say that in cricket as well as in football, if you're not being talked about as a goalkeeper, you're doing a good job. And I think uh, that's what's true for Lemons. So, I mean, brilliant recruit by the team, and he's only 23, right? 23, 24. So he has a long career ahead of him, and he will only go from strength to strength. Now, while we have touched upon the stars of the Fulham match, now coming to the latest match, the demolition of Spurs, the demolition of 10 men Spurs. We were dominating them with 11 men anyways, but I mean, at with 10 men and a goal up, it made for a easy viewing. What was your take on the match? Who stood out for you? What stood out for you, if anything?
So,
So
so firstly, I'm glad that we have broken some mini records along the way because we were winless against Spurs in our last six matches,
five
which is
matches,
our
no? Six.
six matches, which is our
Wow.
longest ever run against them, which we have broken. And Spurs were two unbeaten at Old Trafford consecutively in consecutive seasons. The last time they were three unbeaten was back in the 50s. So we have broken that as well, and I think you would agree that we have, even though we've not had victories against them, we've been the better team. So it's not always
Yeah,
nice to not come away with 3 points even after having played so well. And with or without the red card, we would have beaten them anyway. It was only a matter of what scoreline would it be. Never for a single second did it feel that they're even in the game.
yeah,
Although I mean, we do have to say that they're arguably having one of the worst runs in terms of injuries. I
yeah.
think their top 11 isn't even there on the pitch, and even against us, two of their defenders got injured and one got red carded through his own fault. And they've not won a game in 2026. Do you know that? There's only Palace and
In
another team.
it's only yesterday when the commentator mentioned the same that I was made aware of it. Otherwise, I mean, see, Spurs has become an inconsequential team for me. There's no Min, there's no Harry Kane, so there's no motive for me to watch their games. So I did not, I wasn't following their run, but I think it's surprising to see that a team who's playing in the Champions League is winless so far. It is surprising to know that.
And look at some of the players that they have, man. Xavi Simons, Kolo Muani, Matheus Tel, like all three that we were also gunning for. I mean, these are not shabby players at all. And I've barely scratched the surface. There are so many others as well. They have a good bench too. So and they're very close to the relegation zone as well. I think 6, 7 points if I'm not wrong. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
always tough to review matches against 10 men, which in a way says that we won the game, and it's not been easy for us to do that in the past. We know that very well as well. So I'm glad we got this one out of the way. What's your take on our defense, by the way? You mentioned earlier that it still has room for improvement, but what's your take on the individuals, how we feel as a back line, the balance that we have, the stability that we have?
I think uh, backline looks very stable. The back five looks very stable. Fifth one being the keeper, and that's an extremely important thing. We were speaking about Lemons' stability, and that gets reflected in the back four as well. So I think Martinez seems like he never left. He did not get injured. He's operating at the highest level of his abilities, and there's still room for improvement. I think a fit Martinez is essential to the way we play, to the way the way he breaks the lines from the deep. I think his presence is impeccable for the way this team plays. Shaw, I think Shaw started every Premier League game this season, if I'm not mistaken, which is 25 matches. And I don't remember the last season that he played 25 matches in a row. Yeah, we do not have midweek matches, but so I've always rated Shaw very highly ever since his Southampton days, and I've always felt that a fit Shaw is one of the best left backs in the world, and I think that's proven to be right. And I would be surprised if he doesn't make the England team now. Uh, so I mean, that's how good a player I rate him. His
So
crosses
this is,
are
by the way, his consistent ever showing for United, having started all 24 matches, like you
right,
just mentioned.
exactly,
And with us
exactly.
since 2015. It's unbelievable to know that.
Yeah, he's
But
the
yeah.
longest serving player in the current squad. And now coming to one of my favorite players in this particular team, Harry Maguire. I think uh, he has been one of the most consistent players this season, both under Amorim as well as under Carrick. And I think we were discussing this offline that he has become a center stone of our defense under every manager that he has played under. So, which goes to show his quality, his level of his experience, and how highly he's rated by his peers as well as the manager. He was the centerpiece for Southgate's England, which made it to two finals. You could see you could see the difference uptick in England's performance when he was playing and when he was not playing under under Ole, under Ten Hag, under Amorim, under Carrick. So I think. again, he's one of those players which United fans will remember more fondly once he has moved on. And I sure do hope that he extends his stay, because we will need his presence when we enter European competitions next season. His presence, his experience, his positioning sense. And I think you mentioned in one of our earlier podcasts that he's the only defender that we have who has that ability to dominate physical players. And I think
A bully.
a bully, right? A bully in both the boxes. And I think we will need that.
And he has like recently bullied some of the top strikers in the league anyway, and that too so
Right.
easily. Like he's not even giving them a whiff. And you can see like when we are getting the balls directly from the keeper, how easily he's manhandling people, and
And
only he can do that.
only he can do
Without
that. And his knack of scoring clutch goals. I mean, that knack is very underrated. His final third play is extremely underrated. He
yeah,
reminds me.
yeah, sorry, continue.
He reminds me a lot of Vidic in that sense, in the sense that he would get on the end of every cross, right, and he score in matches which we were finding difficult to break through. But whatever said and done, he will forever be remembered for his 121st minute winner against Lyon, and his legacy is sealed at United. So yeah,
And to think that he was signed as one of the most expensive defenders in the league, and he immediately got the captaincy band, which got taken away from him. We were about to sell him. We almost accepted West Ham's bid as well, and he refused.
right,
I mean, it's
yeah.
when you consider all of these factors, it just makes it
and and
unreal.
ev- and every manager makes him part of their leadership squads, right? And he's one of the better eggs in the squad, right? He attends academy matches. He always volunteers himself for the charitable work that the club does off the ground, right? So I think he is that positive presence that you need in your in your squad.
And summarizing this defense discussion, I remember at the start of the season, we mentioned that two signings who nobody expects us to make, but we are going to have them is Martinez and Shaw. And that's
Yeah,
exactly how this season is proving itself to be.
right.
Shaw putting in again consistent performances, and Martinez, after such a serious injury, to come back and
Yeah,
play at this
and
level.
back-to-back injuries. I mean, he
Yeah,
only had what, 3-4 months between the two
yeah.
injuries.
To come back and so quickly start playing at this level, and you can see that the entire team looks up to him to put those balls in. You can
Right.
see that the team puts the ball to him first, that okay, you take it forward, you across the ball, you attempt those passes, and you can actually see that during the game whenever he has the ball, all the wingers are making runs because that
Right, right.
trust is there,
He's like a playmaker playing in the defensive position, in
like
a
a
centre back
quarterback,
position,
right?
like a quarterback, exactly like a
Yeah, so
quarterback. Yeah.
and yeah, I love that about him. So, by the way, one interesting thing, Manchester United haven't blown a lead against a 10-man team since 2017. You know which team we played against in 2017 where we lost this lead?
2017 would be Mourinho's first season, second season or first season. Uh, I can't. Tottenham.
So, Leicester was the team that broke the streak,
Oh,
and Harry Maguire scored against us to
I
equalize.
2-2, right? Mata scoring the two goals for us and away at Kings Park Stadium. I remember that match. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Maguire
Uh,
basically in the history
Interesting
books
turn of
again.
events. Now,
Yeah.
we were talking about the players who stood out, and for me, Minu was the man of the match, right? I mean, he's so calm and composed under pressure. He's essentially press resistant, right? And we have so few of those players in our team. Uh, it is crazy to think that Amorim almost drove him out of the club, and it beggars belief that he wasn't starting matches under Amorim primarily due to his system and also, misprofiling of Bruno as well as Menu. So, what's your take on Menu's upturn in form, or the form was always there and he was just not getting chance to show for it?
I think you mentioned this in one of our previous episodes, but I believe it more strongly now that Menu would be the death of Amarin, sort of, like metaphorically, of course, that there is no reason in the entire world which he can give now to pacify his non-selection of Menu.
Right.
There's not even a single word he can utter in his defense because it can't be
If
like.
he ever utters a word, we have not heard from him
Yeah,
for
I
the
mean,
longest
maybe
time,
he'll
but
do
yeah.
that after the end of the season, perhaps. But But it can't, like, Menu was never injured. He was never he was never unprofessional. He was just never given a chance. You know, in totality, he played 224 minutes under Amorim for us in his entire stay. Like this season, I mean, 224 minutes. That's not even three full matches. And now, of course, under Carrick, he's played and started all matches, and he's played almost
All matches.
every single minute. And you can see the
Carrick and
value.
Fletcher combined. Carrick and no, Fletcher I think he was injured, but yeah, Carrick 4 matches. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the value he brings to the table. And by the way, my man of the match was clearly Menu for sure.
Yeah, same
Just
here. Yeah, yeah.
because of the calmness, because of the confidence he gives whenever he gets the ball. Like, you're never not at ease. You know that either he's going to win a foul or he's going to thread the ball and play a decent pass to one of his fellow mates. And he's become a little more
And
aggressive as well.
what's the great thing is that I named him my man of the match without thinking about his assists. Had he not made that assist, he would have still been my man of the match. So that was a brilliant goal by the way, straight out of the training ground. Uh, you when things are going for you, everything goes for you. But another set piece goal for us. But yeah, sorry, continue. You were saying something.
And I feel he has become a little more aggressive. Like, you can literally see that fire in him in terms of tackling, in terms of
Right.
even changing the wings, which he's not, let's say, traditionally known for. Even though we're talking about a 20-year-old, it seems like we're talking about somebody who's been playing for ages. And I hope Southgate gives him a fair crack at making the squad. But irrespective of that, I just love what's happening with him
Not
right now.
Southgate, Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah, अरे Thomas Tuchel है. Southgate has been managing England
Yeah.
for 30 years. अब muscle memory एकदम से वैसी बनी हुई है. But yeah, I'm so glad that, like, these conversations are done for in terms of Menu ever leaving the club or finding another.
So
And
you
I wanted to
mentioned,
ask you another thing, by
yeah,
the way, that
go.
was that Van de Ven tackle on Maguire a penalty according to you? That wrestling move on him
I think
before the
no,
tournament.
I think had he held Maguire even for 2 more seconds, that would have been a penalty. But I think he released him pretty quickly, and I think that you have to give defenders that bit of leeway. Otherwise, every foul would be a penalty. But you mentioned we are talking about a corner routines. I mean, what brilliant upticks we have seen in in our set piece goals in this year alone, right? I mean, historically we have always talked about us being horrible at set pieces, both defending and scoring set pieces, and we have seen uptick in both the scenarios, right? Hello.
Yeah, sorry, your voice was, I didn't get
I'm saying,
that
what
last
is your
part.
take on our set piece performances? The different routines, the different attacks that we make from set pieces, the sheer amount of thread that we put in, right? While I like to vilify Arsenal for their dependence on set piece, I would like to take pride in our alternative route from set pieces.
I think this deserves a shot. No, but yeah, it's a breath of fresh air because we've not had these feelings for a long time now. And not just attacking wise, but even defensive wise, we feel a little more solid. Of course, in terms
Yeah,
of attacks, you have more tangible numbers to prove your claim. But yeah, we just feel more threatening, and we have so many set piece takers now. As much as, of course, Bruno and Mbumo are taking most of them, and even our most of them, and even our threats have improved in terms of Dillit being there. Maguire, of course, was always a standout. Casemiro is just unbelievable. It seems like a 7 foot player on a set piece.
right,
Um,
right.
and yeah, there's a lot of ingenuity as well. And I can boldly say our set piece game is so much better than bloody Arsenal's. It's not as boring as Arsenal's. All they do is just, like, cover the keeper with with 30 players, and that's about it. Yes, they're putting good balls in, credit to that. But our set piece game is not similar to Arsenal's at all.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think we just hope that it continues to be the case. Now, you mentioned about, Tuchel and Menu putting in a good run to stay. Who all would you think would get picked into the England squad for the World Cup from United? If you had to, will any be selected? A, and if yes, who all would be selected?
I think Maguire has to be there. I mean,
But he
it
hasn't been a
can't.
part of the squad for the past 4, 5 times, right?
I don't know. I mean, doesn't Tuchel play with a back three?
Tuchel has different styles of playing. I think he's a very pragmatic coach in the sense that he adapts his formation to the opposition.
So I'd pick Maguire and Shaw to be the two sort of England players from United. How about you?
I think all three England players, potential England players, are in a good run of form. With with no midweek matches to play for, so I would hope that even Minu gets selected. But I think Shaw should be a shoe in. Maguire, I'm not too sure because it all depends on Tuchel's way of thinking. But I think I sure do hope that Shaw gets in, and then I'm not too sure on Minu and Maguire.
And Tuchel loves Mount, by the way, but
M-
that's not going to
Mount is
happen.
again injured, right? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I wanted to just highlight. I don't know if you saw Bruno's post-match interview on the field itself, and I wanted to quote him literally because I loved what he said. So he said when he was asked about the atmosphere that the fans created today, his response was, frankly, even when things weren't that good, this is what we got from fans day in and day out. And second, when he was asked about what Carrick has done to them and with them, he's like, he has given us more responsibility plus freedom to do what we want to do on the pitch. He also said Carrick is good with words and he still remembers what I told him back when he was interim manager a little while back. And that's the level of detailing that the guy has. And he ended that up with hopefully we can help him more. And not just that, we would want to show that we are good players as well. That's why we are at United, and the staff is good as well.
Yeah.
So him touching on these points, I mean, that's why he's our captain.
See, wins breed positivity, even among fans as well as among the players, right? Uh, United fans historically have been the most supportive fans of any.
You'll have to mute and unmute.
So United fans have historically been very supportive, very patient of the manager of their team, even when the chips are down, even when nothing is going their way. I would go as far as to say that United fans are probably the most patient and the most loyal fans in whole of Europe when it comes to Big Six or other big teams, right? We know about Ultras of Italy, we know about the Radicals of Spain, right? One bad match and their white handkerchiefs are out. But but again, wins breed positivity. Winning a match is the best way to shut any critic up, and I think that's what's getting reflected in the positive atmosphere around the club, within the team, and also the way Bruno is speaking. Bruno speaking like a man who has been given the responsibility of taking United, ensuring that United finishes in top four, right? And I think players love that sort of responsibility. Players love to take that sort of ownership because it shows respect and trust from the manager onto the players when they're given that sort of opportunity. And I think Carrick's man management has been brilliant. His without going much into the tactical side of things, his player management has been brilliant, and he's saying the right things to the right people. And I think that was touched in the Athletics article as well, wherein he said that Carrick is known to speak to players, known to adapt his approach to different players basis what they need. And I think he has learned that from Alex Ferguson, who was known to be a great man manager, right? Uh, so I think let's see, let's hope this continues. And the real test would be when we lose a match. I don't want us to lose a match till the end of the season, but we surely will. I mean, that's just part of the game, right? So it would be interesting to see how we react after. I have a feeling that this team will react positively to any defeat. The kind of vibe and the atmosphere that's breeding around the ground, I think that's what will happen eventually when
So
that happens.
before we move to the next question, I have a little game for you, so you'll have to put your thinking cap on. So, which player has got the most Premier League red cards out of this list? Patrick Vieira or Roy Keane?
Which player has the most red card?
Which player has got the most red cards in the Premier League out of this list? Patrick Vieira or Roy Keane?
Roy Keane.
Wrong. Patrick Vieira has eight, Keane has seven.
Oh,
The infamous Joey Barton or Alan Smith?
Alan Smith.
Yeah, that's right. The infamous Lee Cattermole, who keeps getting red cards almost every single week back when he was playing, or Steven Gerrard.
Steven Gerrard.
That's wrong again. Trick question, Lee Cattermole. Nemanja Vidic or John Terry.
Nemanja Vidic.
Both have six. So,
Sorry, am I audible?
yeah, yeah, you're audible. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so by the way, just uh, we're covering the entire list. Richard Dunn, Duncan Ferguson, and Patrick Vieira have the most cards in the red cards in the Premier League ever at
Oh,
8. And in terms of Manchester United, we have Roy Keane and Alan Smith had 7. I would have never guessed Alan Smith ever. And
same.
then we have Andrew Cole, Nicky Butt, and Vidic tied for 6.
Wow.
So yeah, by the way, just even and I know Owen Hargreaves' comments, I don't ever take them as seriously, but he also mentioned about Menu that I've never seen him having a bad game, and it's like he's playing in the park with his mates. And Ian Wright sort of supplemented that by saying it's frankly a bit embarrassing for Amorim, his treatment of Menu, a young
Yeah,
talent
absolutely.
academy product who was close to leaving the club. So
Absolutely.
yep. So the next bit, we all know that Bruno Fernandes has had 200 goal contributions for our beloved club. Do you know who has taken the fewest matches to reach that
Wayne
much?
Rooney.
The top five list.
So Wayne Rooney, Bruno Fernandes, Giggs, Beckham, and Ronaldo.
And what would be the order?
Rooney, Bruno Fernandes, Beckham, Ronaldo, Giggs.
So Beckham and Cristiano, the place has to be swapped. Cristiano is the third fastest to get there at 339 games. Beckham at 393, and Giggs is the five in the top five at 424 games is what he took to reach 200 goal contributions. Also, I want to because I want to in a way woo Bruno Fernandes and for him to comment on our reels sometimes. He's not just in terms of his impact or in terms of goals and assists. He's currently the best midfielder in the league, bar none. He has the most number of assists, 12. He has the most assists from set pieces at 7. He has the highest number of chances created, which is at 68. He has the highest number of chances created from open play. He has the highest number of
Absolutely.
big chances and the most number of through balls in the league.
Oh wow, I'm just looking for a stat, but I would have never expected these. I mean, I was just looking for the same stat, but yeah, his again that also, I mean, goes to show how, I mean, certain stage decisions that Amorim would have taken, did take, and right, Minu and Bruno feature in them prominently.
And now, what's your take on us finally winning 4 games in a row since I don't know how long? I mean, it's been 2 years, but still. Okay, you'll have to mute and unmute, so I'll ask the question again.
No, no, I heard your question. I heard the question. So I
ताकि
think
reel cut हो जाए भाई. So, what's your take on us finally winning 4 games in a row since 2 years, which seems like an eternity?
I kind of expected us to draw against one of those 14, but I expected us to draw against Fulham. If I'm not, if I'm very honest, but I think it's always good to see us put in performances and win matches deservingly, not by fluke. Also, I'll be happy for United trying to finally get a cut and him getting off the internet finally. It's a non-story, but he has made it into a story.
But
The
that's
next
good
match is
content
against
creation, yeah. That's good content
yeah,
creation.
yeah, absolutely. And I
I
think
can
match is
imagine
against
him sitting in like Alim Hakim's office in Bombay and getting that haircut finally.
why Bombay of all
नहीं,
places.
वन
No,
लाख
I
लेता है यार वो 1 लाख लेता है वो हेयरकट का.
so I think we do have and we have a good chance of you know stringing 5 wins in a row. Our next match is against West Ham away in a stadium. In a stadium that's a strange stadium to play in. There is no atmosphere in the stadium. There's no home advantage. But again, we have not played well in that stadium in recent times. So let's see how that goes.
And you know
Now,
what? What makes it better is the fact that this was the first time Carrick was coming up against a team which is not in top seven. So the
yeah,
Carrick's
yeah,
run in terms of his managerial stint has been all against the big four, big five, traditional big five. So
right,
he's been winning these tough games. And
absolutely.
our current like we have the current longest unbeaten
Eight
streak in
matches,
the
right?
Premier League, right? Which is twice more than any other team, which
Yeah,
also goes to show how inconsistent other teams have been. And with the little more, I guess, focus, we could really have a good crack at finishing top two, top three come the end of the season.
absolutely. No, I agree. Now, moving on to our favorite segment, the prediction segment, right? Uh, the Fergie time. Just spoke about West Ham. What is your take on? I will not ask what the starting 11 is going to be because I'm assuming that it will stay the same. There are no injuries. So, what is your take on the score, the predicted score?
I think we'll win 2-1, and Cunha and Sheshko to score is what my bet is going to be. I don't know if we'll have a comfortable victory. I feel we may not have a clean sheet, given that West Ham, I mean, at home, and Jared Bowen is always on good form in terms of goals and assists. How about you?
I think it will be a 3-1 victory with Jared Bowen scoring for them and Gunya Shishko and Mbumo scoring for us. So it's like so some sense of optimism coming back.
But I hope both of us can manifest more and more of Bruno's assists so that he can finally
Yeah,
break the
yeah,
all-time
yeah.
all-time record.
All three.
And Sheshko is not doing him any favors though with missing some of these easier chances. Like that chance at the end should have easily been a goal, man. Why was he so casual? Bruno का एक assist हो जाता है एक और. Mike.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Shishko could have added to the Bruno's assist tally, but yeah, one of those days for him, one of those chances for him.
But do you reckon we can finish top two, top three?
Top two, I don't think top two is a possibility. Top three, yes.
Okay, and will Bruno break the all-time assist record according to you?
I think he'll end up at 18 or 19, but won't be able to break the all-time assist record.
Okay, so just this last bit, by the way, I don't know if you saw. एक सेकंड तो या म्यूट अनम्यूट करके देख. Is your voice?
Check, check, check.
हाँ ठीक है. Yeah. So I don't know if you saw Rio Ferdinand's celebratory reel where he was watching United's game at a sports bar in Paris with
With
none
Shubman
other
Gill.
than,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
the Indian cricket team captain Shubman Gill.
Yeah, he's a
Right.
United fan.
No, he's
Shubman
not.
Gill. He is, no?
No, he's not. So that's the last segment, by the way. This is the last game that we're going to play. So I'm going to be taking the names of certain players. You'll have to guess which football club do they support. And this is about the Indian cricket team, right? So Virat Kohli.
Chelsea.
Nope. Virat Kohli supports wherever Ronaldo is. So he used to support United back when Ronaldo was there. Then he used to support Real Madrid. So he has player allegiance rather than club.
Got it.
Rohit Sharma.
I have no clue. I would say Barcelona.
He's an avid Real Madrid supporter, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Rishabh Pant, Spider-Man,
United.
Liverpool.
I
All clubs. Yuzvendra Chahal, one of the, you could
UC.
say, yeah, social media savvy folks.
Chelsea.
Manchester United, finally.
I know one player who's a diehard United fan.
Jasprit Bumrah.
Uh, is it a Premier League club? United. Oh, acha.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Great.
So I loved when I got to know this. I mean, Jasprit Bumrah is just, I guess, he's arguably the best cricketer we've had in the last decade or so. Kuldeep Yadav.
United. He's a United fan. Hardcore United fan.
His top club is Barcelona, and in England he prefers Liverpool, by the way. He
He's
keeps
a hard.
shifting clubs. No, he's not.
Then I mean
You'll
that's
have
I
to,
don't.
yeah, you'll have to
Okay.
do your research. But yeah, KL Rahul,
I have no clue, man. No clue.
Arsenal.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
But yeah, so United is one of the most followed clubs
Yeah.
in the Indian cricket team. And just the last bit, I'm going to take some of the legendary names right now, and you have to guess the same. Rahul Dravid.
United.
Arsenal, all about like class and elegance, right? Saurav Ganguly.
Real Madrid.
He's a very big proponent of United, by the way. Like he's
I wouldn't have guessed that. Clearly, I don't
and
know our cricket team enough.
the captain of all captains, Mahendra Singh Dhoni.
Has to be United, right?
He
Fascination with
loves
number
he
seven.
loves United to bits. He loves United to bits. And the final one is Yuvraj Singh, who's a massive United fan. He did that interview with Marcus Rashford as well, where he said that he compared Rashford, Greenwood, and Martial to Giggs, Rude, and Cristiano Ronaldo. So Giggs used to be one of his favorite players, and
Those were the days.
he's been following United since 23, 24 years now. So yeah, there we have it, folks. This was another episode of Not Another United podcast. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe with your friends, family. इतना अच्छा time चल रहा है. We could also use some love. And yeah, we'll see you here next week. We have a midweek game against West Ham in just a couple of days. And yeah, see you real soon. Have fun. Bye bye.
Take care, folks. Bye.